Welcome to this evening's edition. My name is Jemima Beatrice. I'm your host for this evening. Now, before we go into our interview for this evening, let's have a look at the headlines for tomorrow. Welcome back. My name is Jemima Beatrice, your host. We are having Justina Johannes from the Metal and Allied Namibian Workers Union talking to us about the industry, the construction industry, how it has been impacted by the raging COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the increasing presence of Chinese firms. Thank you for joining us, Justina.
Thank you very much for having me.
Justina, can you just give us a brief overview of how the construction industry has been impacted?
Yes, the construction industry have very severe impacted from the beginning when the COVID-19 breakout, where we have already seen that many construction companies started scaling down their employees. They started cutting half salaries of their employees, trying to save as much as they can, more especially to save as many jobs as they can. However, this year also we were also surprisingly also by the government expenditures in the sector, where we have seen that government is redirecting its funding to COVID-19 activities, especially the issues of vaccination and others. However, this had an impact again when we have seen again massive of workers being retrenched, more especially on the road infrastructure, whereby many contractors in the road infrastructure, they were instructed to scale down, more especially on the duration of the project. Many of them were 3-year project. Now some more of them are put on a 1-year project only, with no guarantee that next year there will be a continuation of this work. And we have already seen that some of these workers are currently retrenched. We have also noticed the issue of the private sector in terms of their private projects. We have not really seen much coming, as many of them are delaying to save cost, and also especially just to see how far the pandemic will go, to be able to probably to come back again and see how they continue with their infrastructure development. So the sector will still remain under pressure, as we are seeing, although we are seeing some projects through the African Development Bank, focusing on building schools, renovations, and as well as and road infrastructure. However, we have our reservations on these projects because many of these projects are more given to foreign contractors rather than to local contractors, which we still think, and we continue saying that we have skills in the sector. But yeah, overall, pressure is there. We don't know how long it will take. We have looked at the government mid-year review budget. You will really see that construction sector, it does not feature there as part of the sector to assist economic recovery. It's nowhere really to be seen. However, you see these projects be mentioned here and there, but you do not really know the significance it can do in the economy. Yeah, I think that is basically it. The budget is actually quite mentioning only the issue of the African Development Bank and other projects which are not really related to the sector. We are not really seeing, or maybe I have not read it very well. There's a talk in the sector for us to ensure that the issue of the construction council is which the union highly support, because we need to ensure that contractors are registered, contractors are categorized in different categories so that there's a fair level field in the sector. Yeah, I think this is what some of the issues really happening in the sector at this moment, and we hope if the fourth wave, which people are talking about, does not hit us again, we hope probably next year we will hear a different view. But this is where currently the sector is standing based on our view as a union.
Okay, Justina, I'm aware, yes, that there have been talks to set up a construction council. How far are these talks and how does it look like? Does it look like it is at advanced stages, or where are we right now?
At present, we have been running around with other activities. Last time we were informed that I think the Ministry of Works were still busy, and we are not too sure how far they are. We still have to make a follow-up. What we have done with CIF recently, we signed a memorandum of understanding to just as an industry, both employers and employees, to come together and just have a discussion. Just have a discussion to see how we can work together to address some of these crucial issues happening in the industry. Because one of the issues we recognize is the slowness of the establishment of the council, the issues of precarious jobs, more especially at the local council level. And as well as other issues, we really think that stakeholders need to understand the nature of the sector and the importance of the sector in the local economy.
Now, Justina, one would also like to know, is there an official recovery plan in place to revitalize the construction industry?
At present, I don't think there's any specific government side targeting the industry itself. What I know, at the beginning of this year, there was a consultation meeting when the Minister of Finance was busy with the national budget. They had a consultation with us as unions, and one specific question I asked was to say, what is the position of government on the construction industry? And we're clearly informed that at present, the government is fighting the issues of COVID-19. There will be a reduction on infrastructure development expenditures, and we have really been witnessing this throughout government projects, that there is really a reduction of expenditures in capital projects throughout. They were even went to the extent that they are not earmarking for other new projects. However, we are seeing the budget that the issue of African Development Bank is there. We're also seeing the construction of the hydrogen projects, which recently government awarded a tender to the bidder. So I think some of these things we look at, but I don't think there's any. And if there's any, we were not consulted specifically for the construction sector.
Now, Justina, one of the issues that also brought the construction industry to an abrupt halt during the COVID pandemic was the lack of material, building supplies that were mainly sourced from outside Namibia, South Africa to be specific. Is this also something the union is looking at?
We have witnessed some of these things. I think, more especially at the time of lockdown. But then there were two issues which we critically look at as well as a union, because remember, we had a limitation of public gathering. At workplaces. Workers were, employers had also to adjust to this limitation of public gathering to ensure that not more than a number of workers at a certain workplace. And this have really affected more especially the manufacturing of bricks chapter. But then, however, yes, you can also not blame to the contractors or to the employers on these sectors, but it's also how we make our laws or regulations. It was a pity that when the labor regulations were put together, the same employers, they also challenged this, which could not very much assist us unions to engage properly to address some of these issues. But we have seen them. We have also seen some of these articles going through social media here and there. But at the end of the day, I don't think they were very a lot of complaints of lack of materials. I think the building suppliers, they had materials, maybe some of them in few cases, but I think some of them, those who engage with, they had ready materials in their stock by that time. Even they have a limitation of employees on site.
Now, Justina, capital projects funded by the Chinese government has come under fire for employing mostly Chinese laborers. What is MANWU doing to address this?
This thing is only coming up now, and I've been always asking questions. We have many of the Chinese projects are currently under our watch at construction site, and I think last time I have requested a team, many of my teams, to visit some of these projects in various towns where we have some of these projects. And there are no really many of these reports coming from the construction site, unless a specific site is reported to us, which we are not engaged. But for many years, the union have been really pushing the issue of local workers to be employed on these projects. Yes, there is a fight, serious fight, debating on the issues of how do you define experts, because some of these people we are told that they are experts, like you are told it's a form and concrete. But then we have people who can be form and concrete in Namibia. These are debates which need all stakeholders, especially the immigration department, who are issuing this work permit. And unfortunately, unions are not consulted in this process. Unions are not also sitting on this immigration board, although I know we have been fighting to say we need a worker representative on the immigration board, so that we can also give our views whenever these work permits are given. These requests have never been entertained by government, only them who knows to why, but I think it's not really doing justice to the labor movement, because they just issue work permit. So you then will go to this site, but then you are told my work permit, it was granted by government. How do you deal with this issue if a person have a valid document? But I think in some of these construction sites where we are involved, really, we have not really seen a lot of Chinese anymore compared to before, unless in other sectors, which we are not involved, but in the construction sector for now, I think the only problem we have is the treatment of workers on site, issues of non-compliance of national laws, and as well as other regulations stipulated within the labor movement.
Can you just give us a brief overview of what the mistreatment of workers look like? How does it manifest itself on the construction sites?
At most, what we have experienced, and it's an issue we need to deal with. Most of the time, we have realized that we have new entries coming in the country who are given projects, but then it's a new company from China. It's a new company, new people, management who are coming in the country. They pretend as they do not know that there are these laws existed, or even if they are given this project. Because remember, we were very successfully to lobby for the collective agreement to be recognized in the bidding document. Whenever you bid, you need to ensure that you have an undertaking that you are going to comply with the collective agreement, which is regulating the national minimum, the construction minimum wage in the construction sector. However, when then they awarded these tenders, they then turn a blind eye or just ignorance without not them want to comply with this specific collective agreement. Then it starts then whereby workers will then demand, and it's where this conflict start, whereby workers will be then intimidated, they will be threatened, they will be dismissed. There's just a lot of violation of workers' rights at this new entries whenever new end companies who are coming in the industry. But then as much as they stay longer, they start then improving here and there. And every year we have already seen that we have new companies coming from China, coming in Namibia, with different attitude. But what they also do, they come in, they will bring in someone from China, but then they then source their management throughout Africa. Because these companies, the state-owned enterprises of China, they are all over Africa. Mm-hmm. And the good thing with MANWU is that we are having a network, a construction network in Africa, mm-hmm. whereby we trace the Chinese state-owned enterprises. So it's easy for us to know where is this person coming from if we got hold of the name, which country is he coming from, and then we contact our sister union in that specific country just to say, yes, we have China State. There was a guy by this name. Can you tell us, can you just give us his profile, how he was acting on that? And we have seen that most of the time, they just take chances. The mm-hmm. moment they see that they have a strong union on side, they will completely stop. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, if you are weak, they will continue to do whatever they want to do.
Now, Justina, in conclusion, you've also said earlier that most of these projects that we now see coming out are given to foreign firms. So in your view, what should government do, or what should be done to help improve the capacity of local firms in the face of this increasing presence of foreign construction industries, especially the Chinese?
I think for me, and it's what I've been telling the industry, we need to work together. The workers, the contractors, we need to speak one voice and face our government or whoever who is doing this to say, what you are doing, you are not doing justice to this country. Because remember, it's not just a matter of profit, but it's a matter of how are we growing our local economy as Namibians who are in charge, who are giving these tenders to these foreign companies. Recently, we have just signed a memorandum of understanding with CIF, which I have mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. And this agreement is aimed to address some of those issues. Because what is also paining us as a union, which made us to agree on us signing the MAU, we have the African Development Bank. If you look at the name of African Development Bank, it means African. It's an African bank. But you have an African bank, which is, I do not know how they operate. I don't know who is in charge of the procurement processes. I don't understand how they do it. But I still think they are not doing justice to the African people. Because if you have money, invest this money in Africans. Mm-hmm. Because if you are empowering Africans, you are also empowering a continent. But if you have money and you are giving this money to a foreign company, this money will not stay in Africa. It's go out of Africa. And I think this is the injustice we are doing to ourselves, African. We are very disappointed because currently the African Development Bank is funding renovation of some of the VTCs and some of the schools all over the country. If you look at the percentage, I think we can say 75 or 85% of those projects are in the hands of the Chinese. And these are mere projects worth of 20 million, 10 million, which our people can do. Then you ask yourself, why do we then call ourselves African Development Bank? Because we meant to develop Africa. And also as Namibians who are sitting on these African development procurement platforms, what is our voice? What are we saying? Instead for us to empower other people, countries, we are then doing injustice to our own people. So I think our view as a union is still clear. We are still there to say whatever we do, we are not doing justice to our local economy. Our government currently is struggling to raise funds to do many other things they would need to do for its own people. But then we are still shipping out money from this country, which we can still retain through these projects. But yes, you speak, people listen to you, they will tell you are making noise here and there, but at the end of the day, it's still us Namibians, it's still us Africans who are suffering. And these people from other countries, from other continents, they take us as people who do not know what we are doing. And it's true, we do not know what we are doing because we do not stand our ground to fight what is ours. So I'm just saying, I think it's not right. This is just a typical example of the African Development Bank and any other projects which currently are given to the foreign contractors, especially the Chinese. What are we doing? Are we really doing this in the interest of the Namibians?
Thank you very much for joining us, Justina. Please have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. God bless.
Season 1 of the Hunters Chill Session is coming to a close. To celebrate Hunters and the Namibian Sun, we'll be having an exclusive invite-only event at Access Lounge on the 23rd of November. You can be part of this. Stand a chance to win exclusive double tickets for you and a friend to attend the Hunters Chill Finale. WhatsApp a picture of you and your friend chilling with your favorite Hunters to 084 000 9820. Hunters, refreshes like nothing on earth. Not for persons under the age of 18. T's and C's apply.